breaking news.
Welcome back, everyone. Oh my God, what a month! Oh my God, I'm like I'm barely surviving. I am barely making it, and even my green screen background was all messed up. Things started playing randomly. Um, yeah, it's been a rough month. Hey, Peach Scream, good to see you again. Oh my Lord! All right, so what do we have on tap today? Well, first of all, welcome. I don't really use much of those on the live radio show, so I get to use them a lot more here. How you doing, Ostarov? Good to see you. All right, so I think we'll first talk about channel news. So I think the last time we spoke, I was kind of going back to the daily grind with like a full-time job. I haven't slowed down work on the channel at all. But basically my life is I wake up between 5 and 6. I immediately start working on either the channel or work, and then I work until 11 p.m. On either or, and then I rinse repeat, and I do that on weekends as well. So it's not sustainable, but like I care very much about having my own thing, so I'm just gonna keep grinding. But just like simple things like going for a walk, and like I just don't have time. I literally don't have time for anything. And yeah, I'm not trying to be super depressing or anything like that, but fortunately, I think the month of August is done. I have interviews, or just like 2 interviews set up for the month of September, and I'm just trying to stay ahead. But then there are just other, like today was a disaster. Like I checked like a 401k account, and it was just zeroed out. No explanation, nothing. I'm gonna like I'll put Voya on blast. So Voya was like they were for a former 401k thing for a former employer, and I called them up. I'm like, "Where's my money? Where'd it go?" Your prior company did a transfer, whatever. Were you gonna fucking let me know? Oh well, it's the prior company. So I call the prior company, and they're like, "Oh well, you weren't we notified everybody. You didn't notify me." So I didn't lose my money. It was somewhere else. It's in a blackout period for a month. It's completely illegal for them to do that because they're supposed to notify you, and they never notified me. So I just have to decide whether or not I want to file a complaint with the Department of Labor. But I mean, I'm not going to do that. It's just not. It's just like stuff like that. That anxiety spikes you in the middle of the day. Like, where's my money? Is your bank going to notify you that they moved your money? And when you ask them, the bank, Voya, where your money went, they're like, "Oh, I don't know. It's here's the name of the company. Do you have an email address? Do you have a phone number? Do you have a website?" "Oh no, it doesn't say anything here, but you could figure it out." Thanks, Voya. Thanks. High class. Good work. I mean, look, I don't take it out on the people who are providing me this information, right? It's not their fault, but like that's just unacceptable. It's freaking unacceptable. Anyway, I'll stop ranting, but it was just a bit of a day, and there's just other things too, like just dealing with outside vendors and stuff like that at a company who don't understand their own economic interest, and like you it's just all the usual frustrations, and like stuff I didn't miss, but you don't quite remember it until you viscerally experience it again. And yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, yeah. But I will figure it out. I'll get through it. Like all this stuff's a good thing. People I work with are great. It's just it could be unnecessarily stressful for for no good reason, because people are just either not my current place, but when you're sometimes dealing with outsiders, they can be incompetent, obstinate, and it wears me thin. Like I liked being the throat to choke. I liked being my own throat to choke. There was only one person responsible. If I wasn't bringing in enough income, I was responsible. It was just like it was me. The only person I could blame was myself. And then when you're kind of working with this, other vendors and things like that, like it's just not like just people aren't as competent. It's like I can't. I'm really struggling. I'm really struggling from that perspective. Like you could not be more clear sometimes. And you ask your coworkers, like, did I not make myself clear? And they're like, no, there's nothing you could have done better. There's nothing you could have said better. You're just gonna have to keep grinding. So it's just things that should take an hour, take weeks, and just days of just torture. Anyway, let me talk about other stuff. That's my rant. I'm trying to be like I'm like super low energy, but you all always give me, lots of look. It's good. I just like to vent. I just like to vent. That's just the way I am. Everything's going great. I've been able to, kind of continue keeping the channel at the same level. I mean, I haven't done many shorts recently. That's kind of the only the only issue, but I'm still able to do the Stanford thing. But it's just, um, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Again, I'm very fortunate. Like, life is good. I'm just, and it'll get better. And I have a great, like, I have like, again, I'm not going to say anything about too much about employee, but my team has been great. Like, they're awesome. Like, I'm so fortunate to have like an amazing team there, and they're carrying me right now. They're definitely carrying me. And but it's, it's just an adjustment. Like, when you're your own boss, like, it's a lot more fun. You don't make as much money, but it is a lot more fun. So I don't want to let that go. And because I don't want to let that go, I just have to do twice as much work, and it just is what it is. So that's kind of what I'm doing. But yeah, I just wish this YouTube algorithm, man. I just wish it would give me some love. But I'm probably on some list or something. Who knows? Uh, Other weird stuff. So I like to talk about signs and portents. Probably mean nothing. But the other night there was a giant black moth that showed up in my bedroom, and it was like the size of my hand, black moth. And it was kind of darting around. I opened the window. I couldn't quite see where it went, but then it was gone after that. So then that night, the great horned owl returned finally. I think it had been gone for 2 or 3 months, but I could hear it doing its thing in the background. So that was a great sign. Uh, yeah, Moon Man, Moon Man. I mean, yeah, Moon Man's going through a lot worse. I won't elaborate, but like, my whining is in no way remotely what he's going through. He's going through tough times. So if you can say a prayer, right? If you're religious, or believe in the source or whatever, if you can pray for him, Moon Man, or just send out your good vibes, please do. He needs them. He definitely needs them. Well, what color was what? The moth was black. It's actually a good. I chat GPT'd the heck out of it, and I even actually, let me see if I can find it. I bet you I still have it. Hold on. Sure do. Okay. All right. This is kind of weird, so bear with me. ChatGPT is fun for things like this. Let's see. Oh man. No, I have not seen the Google whistleblower who talked about literal.txt files he found that contained search terms to shadow ban. But I believe it. I definitely believe it. God is good, indeed. Yeah, good vibes from Moon Man. Seriously, like, sit down, say a prayer. I mean, he's just, it's not death, but it's, and it's not like a health thing, but if I wrote a Hollywood movie of like these disasters happening to somebody, it would either be a comedy because it would be so ridiculous, or you wouldn't believe it. Yeah, indeed it does. All right, so let me see if I can find this thing. So how should I do this? Okay. And then all right, I got it. All right. Okay, can you all see that? Let me make this a little bit. or I could just do that. So from a thelema or thelemic occultist perspective, what do the consecutive appearance of a black moth, a great horned owl, and 3 circling hawks portend? So the next day, I went outside and there were 3 circling red-tailed hawks. Okay, so this kind of just goes through. Let me just put that to the side. This kind of just goes through the to the beginning of the answer. Okay. All right. So in Thelema and many other occult, I'm just going to read it to kind of speed it along. The interpretation of omens involves considering the symbolism of the animals or phenomena involved in. Just put myself in below. In their sequence or context. Let's explore the potential meanings of each element. So black moths, particularly black ones, often symbolize transformation, mystery, and the unseen. They are creatures of the night, drawn to light, and can represent the journey towards enlightenment or understanding hidden truths. In some esoteric systems, black moths can be associated with endings, death, metaphorical, literal, or the exploration of shadow aspects of oneself. Great horned owls are widely recognized as symbols of wisdom, intuition, and the ability to see what others might not perceive, especially in the dark or during times of confusion. The great horned owl, with its powerful presence, can also signify strength, protection, and silent observation. In Thelema, an owl might also be connected to the pursuit of knowledge and the uncovering of hidden mysteries. All right, 3 circling hawks. As previously mentioned, hawks symbolize vision, clarity, and spiritual insight. The number 3 in many esoteric traditions, including Thelema, signifies harmony, balance, and the manifestation of will. 3 circling hawks could indicate a convergence of energies of a significant spiritual message, focusing on higher understanding or preparation for change. So this is the synthesized interpretation. All right, from a thelemic perspective, the consecutive appearance of these animals suggests a narrative of deep spiritual and personal transformation. Black moth, the beginning of the sequence, suggests an encounter with shadow aspects, hidden truths, or a period of transformation. It may signify the end of an old phase of the need to explore deeper, often uncomfortable truths. Great horned owl, following the moth, the owl represents a time of gaining wisdom from the experience. It suggests that the seeker is in a phase of introspection and learning, uncovering mysteries, and developing a deeper understanding of the situation or oneself. The owl's presence indicates protection and guidance through this period. 3 circling hawks, the final element indicates a period of enlightenment or the emergence of clarity and insight after the introspective journey. The number 3 emphasizes balance and the completion of a cycle. The hawks suggest that the seeker is reaching a new level of awareness, ready to see things from a higher perspective, and make informed, spiritually aligned decisions. Overall, the sequence can be interpreted as a powerful message about a spiritual journey or transformation. It indicates moving from darkness to light, from confusion to clarity, and from ignorance to wisdom. The process may involve facing fears, gaining new insights, and ultimately achieving a harmonious state of being in alignment with one's true will, which is a central tenet in the Thelema. As always, the interpretation of omens is subjective and personal. The meanings may vary depending on the individual's experience, beliefs, or particular circumstances surrounding these observances. So I also did it from like a shamanic perspective, but it's basically the same thing. I'm sure if I did it from other, from various religious traditions, I would get something roughly similar. So take that or leave it, right? It's interesting, and that's kind of how I interpret it. So, yeah, and I'm not sure what seeing cardinals means, but it's probably rebirth. Who knows? But anyway, that's kind of something that happened. Let's see what other weird. And there's some other. Again, I don't know what interpretation to have of that, but it kind of came at again, there's not bad things happening to me. I'm just struggling through just a bunch of just things that are harder than they should be, right? And because I'm kind of a type A personality, I catastrophize stupid stuff. So, all right. Anyway, upcoming episodes. I'm not really going to go through. You can kind of see what they all are. Most of them are up, but I have two more John Strader episodes where he goes through his download. Take it or leave it. It could just be a total hallucination, or it could be something that's real. But you got two more episodes there. I also have now. I have to actually check because. Oh, so I also have. Oops, is this even showing? Yeah, so I have two videos with Daz Smith with a remote viewing project I did, or I asked him and a bunch of remote viewers to do, and the prompt was, when was the last U.S. crash retrieval? And we get to some pretty interesting results. Pretty interesting results. So definitely do not miss that. And I'm just trying to set up the reason the second one is on a weekend. I'm going to pull in the Monday episode onto a Saturday instead of having that following Monday. I'm just going to have it on the prior Saturday. And what I'm going to do with that, hopefully, I think it'll appear at like 11:05 a.m. and then that should redirect 11:05 p.m. Pacific time. That will redirect at the end of that into a live stream with the actual remote viewers, where we talk a little bit more about what they were seeing. But it'll be interesting to see what the reaction to this stuff is, because it did correlate. I'm not saying it was, but it did correlate to a news event. And again, all they had was a 8-digit number. That's it. So, what was I going to say? Um, so there's that. There's two episodes like that, and then I also have two episodes with Courtney Brown, Dr. Courtney Brown, on kind of who's really running the show on Earth, according to his remote viewing, and why Earth is a prison planet and there are soul traps and this and that. I don't know what to make of it, but it's certainly interesting. It's interesting grist for the mill. So definitely tune into that. And then I have another interview scheduled with a gentleman named Tom Montauk this weekend. At least I plan to do the interview. At least that's when it's set up. So then, other than that, I need to get a bunch of interviews in. By the way, the Frank Milburn live stream that happened like fast. It was like 2 days notice, and Frank was on, and he like graciously stayed up. It was like 2 to 4 a.m. for him, which is why he was like completely gassed out when when he was done. Okay, let me see. Let's see. Let's see what folks are saying. Yeah, because it's pulling from a bunch of different sources that, but you just have to be careful when you don't catch it when it's hallucinating. Oh boy, my human sacrifice is finished. I don't know what that means. That I don't know what that means. Yeah, I think it. I mean, I think all those things were good signs. Maybe. Yeah, I should reach out to her Indeed, time marches on, my friend. All right, so here's the other. I've been doing some weird experiments. Okay, so just I don't know what to make of this. There's no, it's not, they're not scientifically significant, right? They're or done to scientific standards. But I've I've when I go to sleep, I try to set the intent with dreams, like, and there are about 5 nights where I set the intent that I was going to visit somebody specifically. And the first night, um, the person indicated that he kind of felt my presence. And then the second night, I said, I didn't tell him what I was going to come as, but I basically had the intent that I would visit him as an owl that would transform into me. And he had horrific nightmares that night that he was being chased by grays. So, and he was like, don't ever do that to me again. Now, look, it could just be random. There's no way for me to, because he didn't see an owl, but or he didn't see me either, but he saw like a gray, which is kind of, you could argue, is a mix between the two. Another friend, actually Moon Man, without telling you who Moon Man is, I told him I would visit him, and he said, okay. And I said, I'm just going to go as a dragon, right? I'm just going to. That night he had a dream that he was locked in a bathroom, and the bathtub was full of various types of excrement, and he had to eat it, vomit it, or pass it, and continuously eat it. I don't know if I caused that, but that's really, really disturbing. So later on, there was someone who basically said they were gonna remote view me or whatever, because it was based, and I kind of didn't like that. So I said, fine, I'll show up in your dreams. And but this time I actually said a prayer, just to God or whatever. Like, look, let me just send the message that I don't appreciate the remote viewing, but like I don't want this person like swallowing their tongue, right? Because I was a little upset, and you could actually see that exchange. It's somewhere in the Morehouse live stream comments. And the first night, this person saw, I think he's an acolyte of Ed Dames. He saw a teacher that he admired, and the teacher kept giving him an assignments. And he would turn in the assignments and be like, it's not good enough. And he would get to do another assignment, not good. And it was like an infinite loop of assignments. Very Sisyphean. It's like, you're not learning the lesson. And then the second night, he was in a car with his wife, and they just kept getting lost, and they couldn't find their way. And then after that, I stopped. And then I think he had some other dream where he was flying in a balloon over Berkeley or something like that. But I wasn't involved in that night. But again, the random person from the internet. So what do I know? He could just be making it up. He could be. So there's no scientific validation. This could all just be coincidence and just mean nothing. I don't know. But if he does know Ed Dames, and he is reporting what he experienced accurately, he kind of came back to me and said, like, you're actually you can actually do this. You're actually doing this, and it's very rare. He said that the Soviets used to do it. They were targeting like Robert Monroe. They had people who could do it, and he said it's a very rare skill. And then just reached out to me. But there was like a pretty tense exchange initially, and it turned into a pretty positive exchange. But again, it could just be intelligence guys, just like, let's see what we can get. Let's see if we can get this guy. Let's see if you can make him go crazy. Let's see if he he thinks he can do this. So I really have no idea, right? I'm just running experiments and just seeing. I'm not fully convinced. I think there's something to it, but I'm not fully convinced that it's something I can do. I definitely need more proof points, but I have 5 that are sufficiently ambiguous, and I'll just kind of leave it at that. So that's the thing I was alluding to with Oh wow. Yeah. Yeah, I believe that. Yeah. Coincidences happen to me constantly. Like constantly. Or synchronicities if you want to call that. Yeah. Yeah. I mean some of this stuff is just not probabilistic, right? It just doesn't make sense the way that certain things, unfold. So anyway, that's the I'm kind of like unscripted tonight, right? I mean, this would be kind of the Q&A section, but I really I kind of just scheduled this thing. I wanted to use my ATEM M to ATEM Mini, and then once again didn't get to use it because chaos, total utter chaos. Yeah, it definitely makes it interesting. It definitely makes it interesting. So I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, and then my house is like super loud in the background. I don't know if you can hear any of that, but it's really, really annoying today. Today's been an annoying day. Would be um, but the one good thing about like scheduling a live stream is that I have to do it. I scheduled it. Can't back out. Got to get it done. Got to do it. And that's kind of how I get through this kind of stuff. You just commit yourself to something, and then you can't get out. Johnny, what do you mean somebody is vibing? Say more, please. I'm just curious. Oh yeah, and even talk about this. Have the chat manifest the beach house. Yeah, yeah. So the beach house. Think of a beach house in Catalina on Catalina Island. Just and for like 900 square feet, you can get one for plus or minus $1 million. Just man, I wouldn't buy a beach house there because I'm not necessarily like a beach guy. I'm more of a mountain person. But see if you can manifest that. Yeah, yeah. There's somebody's filming like a bathtub in the room, like in the room above. So yeah, if you mean somebody's vibing, you probably mean stimming. That would be my daughter. Huh? Formscapes. Yeah, it just today is chaos day. Like it's just like it's a Shiza show. Just using some just German and English. I'm trying not to curse because I'm sure it probably like kills me in the algorithm. I know I said like one thing, so if I say Scheisse, it's a shy. Today's just been a Scheisse show. So hmm. Yeah, yeah, I can a little bit. I've actually found that this is calming. I'm like I usually get a little stressed before it, but I have my setup has gotten much faster, and than it was at the very beginning. I used to use these like gigantic soft light things that would take like 20 minutes to set up, and now I just have like a ring light that I just plug in, bloop, done, and then I put up my green screen, which always took as long as it took. So good stuff. Good stuff. Oh, what do people think is happening with the? Are we getting any more progress on disclosure, or is it just going to be more of the same, kicking the can down the road? I mean, Arrow is just ridiculous. It's just like I don't even know what the point of it is. It's obviously a counterintelligence op, but how so? How so? In terms of coming a long way, I'm very interested in all of your thoughts. Actually, yeah, they're gonna try. They're gonna try. Yeah, somebody's just got to leak. It's just got to come out that way. It's the only way. And I know I don't really take a stand on whether or not they're good or these things are positive or negative, but yeah, I just feel like why would they hide unless they had something to hide? I just don't know, and I don't think it's one thing. I think it's many things. I think psi abilities and all that stuff are all tied into this as well, and I think they just don't want that to come out. When you say it could be for survival, what do you mean, Johnny? Oh, you mean them? Why they don't come out? Because they're trying to survive. I don't know. Maybe could be. It is certainly possible. And then I think Lou Elizondo's book comes out this month. Not sure what how to feel about that. I'm undecided on that guy. I mean, he was. It appears he was part of the activity, right? So, I mean, schizophrenics might be people with psi, where their filter's a little looser. Oh, when they say the UAP secret is too dark to reveal. So one theory is that they're future humans, and then in order for them to exist, let's say they're grays, there has to be a horrible catastrophe to happen to drive them underground so that they can evolve underground into their, civilization. And, you know, if that doesn't happen, then they never exist. And then maybe they have, you know, some impact on our distant past, right? Maybe they're kind of out of time and maybe they created us, which means they created themselves, right? It could be some you'll hear more of that it's kind of a John Strader esque sort of thing. It could also be that they're on the way, right? This is the, what's his name? John, God, I just interviewed him, the alien autopsy guy, John Stewart. He's been talking recently that they're on their way and they'll be here in 2026, 27, and they don't really care about us. They're just going to wipe us out, right? And the powers that be know they can't do anything about that, so they're just kind of letting things take their course, and they'll figure it out when it happens. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it could also be that the government can't do anything. They can't do anything to stop these entities. They come and go at will. So some people might question, why are we being taxed for a government that can't protect us from this stuff? It could be that we're not in control. Somebody else is in control, and there's a very small cadre of people who are working with these things. And if we found out that was, and they're getting privileged and stuff like that, and if the rest of humanity found out, we'd literally tear them apart. Uh, it could be something like that. So, I mean, it could be selfish and motives and stuff like that, but I don't think so. I think there's something There's something they're either being too conservative, like way too conservative, or it's something really dark. Let's see. Yeah, could be. Could be. It depends on whose life. AI? Like their own or life on Earth? Oh, I don't know. I can ask him. I can ask him next time I talk to him. Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of the Courtney Brown stuff because it's all this stuff is all word of mouth, right? So I don't because I interview like people doesn't mean I endorse what they're saying, but I think it's interesting, right? Like this is an entertainment channel and not an education channel for a reason because there's no way for me to verify a lot of this stuff. Only verify who the people are who they say they are, and that's about all I can do. So there's certainly a signal to noise ratio. I just don't know if it's high or low. I don't know if there's a lot more signal in the noise or if the signal's very small. But yeah, I think the planet's special too. The question is are we special? Maybe, or we could just be a commodity or resource. I don't know. Or both. But in terms of other theories, I don't think it's incompetent. I think there's enough evidence out there that's unquestionable that there's some not like non-humans that are here. It's just what are they? Where are they coming from? And why? I don't know if y'all can hear that, but it's really bothering me. What other questions that folks have? Oh, no, I keep forgetting to do that. I think Dr. Eben Alexander would be the first person I would go to. But yeah, I don't know where did you hear that? I can't comment on it either way. No idea. By the way, Facebook's terrible. Like I generally would try to post this to Facebook, but it always fails. Always. Like without fail. Never works. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I'm still just doing my best. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if that was true. But how much do we know about the moon? Right? There's gotta be more in there. Yeah, I need to start lining up guests for that. Yeah, according to the geological record, uh, the question is where did life come from? Was it panspermia? Where I think that's what likely happened here is that there was an asteroid that had some like life that had some some organisms on it crashed on the planet and got everything kickstarted. I mean, it could also I don't know how you would spontaneously generate it, but I think there are theories that describe that where you're talking about amino acids, things like that. Yeah, and it could have been designed. right? You could have been AIs that were just sent to all corners of the galaxy with biological materials, and their goal was to find life, or environments capable of sustaining life, and then kickstarting these things, and then through self-replication and eons of time guiding evolution on different worlds. Again, I'm not saying that's what happened, but it's certainly a plausible thing. Like, you just add the von Neumann probe concept, and you just install a little bit of biology, kind of mini arcs, and then as life develops, it would develop in accordance with, it would have the blueprints of particular organisms, but they would also evolve in concert with the unique properties of whatever world that they landed on. Huh. Interesting. We'll see. Yeah, but I actually think that we actually do live forever. And again, there's a religious aspect to it as well. But I think we're just occupying meat suits temporarily. What happens after that, I don't know. But that's a good question, because the octopus is like wildly different than a lot of the stuff that's on the planet. Yeah, I do believe intelligence recognizes intelligence. That's fair. We are like apes with nuclear weapons. Interesting. Yeah, at some point he gave me a shout out, or he gave the channel a shout out on his show, so I appreciate that. Yeah, it could. It's possible. Yeah, although I don't know if that would. I guess you would have to transfer your consciousness over and over and over again. And if you transfer your consciousness via technological means, is that the same as conveying your soul to a new body? And how would you know the difference? How do you know it just wasn't a copy of your consciousness and not really you? Yeah. It's like, watching Star Trek, right? Are they copying the people that they, you disintegrated, right? And then sent them somewhere else, or were the same particles they sent the same person on the other side? Like, I've always wondered that. Or are they destroying somebody and then just creating a copy in terms of the constituent molecules, and what does that imply for life and death? Anyway, like those, I mean, those are thoughts I haven't had for a while, but those are thoughts I used to have when I was a kid, right? Like, what's really going on? Yeah, indeed, indeed, absolutely. What's the Anak Empire? Interesting. So that's like science fiction, or is that some like Earth? Well, I don't know. Some channeled race that people have seen. All right, so people want to see more NDE episodes. Is there anything else? Any other topics that I really haven't explored much of yet? Or any other guests that you like to see on? I never thought I'd get Gary Nolan that quick. You know, I almost had him on once last year, and then he made those comments at the SALT conference, and I think he had to go quiet for a little bit. Yeah, it certainly does. But I could use a little less chaos. I really could. Yeah, but I would like to have like 5 years of just stability where there's no excitement, nothing, things just gradually get better rather than like, yeah, yeah, I know. Maybe that's why the universe keeps throwing black moths and great horned owls and red tailed hawks at me, all in like less than 12 hours. I've done like Joshua Cutchin. I've done, something on Bigfoot, but I haven't done much. Um, I really don't know what to like. I think there's things that come in that wink in and out of existence, and I think that's kind of what that phenomena is. But I don't know. Huh? Yeah, she would be an interesting interview for sure. I know. I know. I'm like super intense. I'm super intense. I can't let things go. Yeah, I could try. I could try. It's just like I it's just like I had one big growth spurt, and then it just like I'm just not that big enough yet, really. I appreciate that, Smith. As I appreciate that. Yeah, and we could always be better, right? We can always be better, but I'm trying just to avoid burnout. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I'm with you, Cold. I'm with you. I think that's kind of what it is. Yeah, it just feels like I'm like like growth is constrained for me, and I don't know why. I mean, maybe it's just not. I'm not. Maybe the channel's just not good enough, right? It could just be that. I don't. Not trying to lay blame on anything, but I love doing it. It's a lot of fun. Fugal, I've tried before, and he's kind of hasn't responded. I'm not, I think for somebody like that, I'm too small. Like I tried Tim Gallaudet, and I think he like it was like within 20 minutes, he's like, no. Like he probably just looked at the subscriber count. You can't blame him because he's a busy person. But oh, what do you mean? No, it's not that. Elaborate, Johnny. I'm I'm interested in hearing. It could be, but why? Like I'm not overtly political. There have been people who've made political comments on both sides, but I try to keep that out of the show. I mean, I fail a lot, but I'm sure people could probably figure out where I stand, but I try to keep that out. And you know, but what's his name? I'm trying to think. Let's see what this blasted by Debbie at few feet away from pine tree coming through her roof. Hmm. I know it. I know, but it's been over. It's been over 2.5 years, and there are channels that started way later than me that are doing well, are doing better. And I don't, I'm not going to cast aspersions on any of them, but I'm kind of like scratching my head, like I don't get it. Yeah, I think that's fair. It might, but I think I've taken my thumbnail game way up. I got like a GPT subscription, $20 a month, and that's how I'm generating. I'm using Dolly. Dolly's once you kind of can figure out what you want, like you can kind of figure out how to make Dolly work. It's pretty good. Mm, yeah, I'd rather have this than nothing. Oh, yeah. See, like I'm literally nose to the grindstone, so I don't even get a chance to read the news. Like, like to know. I mean, even though most news is false, fake anyway, but um, yeah, it does. Yeah. Well, TikTok I stay away from because it basically allows the Chinese government to install spyware on every computer in your house, even if you don't have TikTok. Yeah, that's true. Yep. Thank you, Smithers. I appreciate it. Yeah, but money solves a lot of problems. Like I wouldn't have been able to take 2 years off if I hadn't, saved a ton of money. And I actually didn't have to go back. Um, but sometimes when something falls into your lap and you look at the numbers, when your wife looks at you and you're gonna say, okay, I gotta go back. But I still, you know, I put a dent into my reserves, but I'm still have plenty, still plenty of reserves. But I just need to build them up. But again, I also have two kids in college right now, and like one's just starting next year, so it's probably good that I have it, and I'm thankful that I have it. But yeah, yeah. I mean, but what can you do? The, yeah, yeah. There's some pay to play, but if YouTube catches you, you're gone, and rightly so. So I don't want to cheat. Like, to me, that's just cheating. Yeah, I agree. I agree. The thing is, though, if you don't you need metal so you don't starve. That's the problem. Uh, because you're vulnerable if you don't have. Yeah, I kind of detest Facebook, but yeah, I don't want to be a pirate. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, Johnny. I know I'm not a good parent. My wife is a good parent. I just my job is to provide. Her job is to kind of make sure that the kids are where they need to be and all that good stuff. But you know, hey, I appreciate that, Cold. I appreciate it. Thank you. Is that an owl? Yeah, it is. Love it. Love that little owl. Yeah, I think there's something to doing something daily. I think that there's also a mathematics around that, and I just don't feel like I have like a quality standard, like a minimum quality standard that I just can't let go of. Like I'm editing, like my doing my audio editing a lot faster. I'm a lot less. Um, I do a lot less editing. I'll like edit out uhs and ums and things that are kind of don't make sense. But I kind of let my guests say a little bit more of. I don't like make what they're saying as crisp as just cutting out. They repeat something, or I'm doing a little bit less of that. Yeah, she is a hero. Thank you, Astaroth. I appreciate that, Woo Riders DG. I, I actually think, again, I'm not trying to. After my interview with Gary, he was asking like, who's your audience? Like who listens? Like, and kind of what I told him was, you know, I would say it's people who have IQs above 120, and and that's probably why it's a smaller audience, because a lot of the things that we cover are over a lot of people's heads. Like and again, I'm not trying to say that to be arrogant, but I think that's one of the reasons why I have slower growth relative to peers. I also have less controversy because in the long run, I think it's better to just be genuine and not try to gin up issues. I appreciate that too, Johnny. Oops. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah. I, I look. I'm not trying to toot my own horn or make excuses, but I think uh, you have to be pretty sharp. I mean, even with Avi, like Avi Loeb, he was like, "This is one of the best interviews in this genre, like in this genre that I've had." Is kind of what he told me afterwards. Yeah, yeah. Just wait until January 2025. I think it's going to get a lot worse, particularly in the United States, regardless of who wins the election. I think. Anyway, I'm not going to go into politics, but I think either side won't accept whatever the result is if it's not in accordance with what they want. But yeah, I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. Yeah, there's too much war. There's way too and things are kind of spiraling out of control in the Middle East right now. And Russia appears to be turning the tide, like they always do in year, you know, approaching year three of every conflict that they've ever been in. Just the way that it works in Russia. Yeah, yeah, 100%. Yeah, yeah. There's definitely not enough love. Yeah, they are greedy, lying. Like politicians, by definition, are greedy, lying snakes. Yep. Yeah, there's like a Metallica song that they say "Time Marches On." Every time you say "Time Marches On," I like it might be one. It might be the song "One," which I won't play because I guarantee they will. Metallica will come after. Lars Ulrich will like file a whatever. I don't remember what he did to Napster, like destroyed Napster. But I think there's like a South Park or something like that was pretty good. But Yeah, I'm not going to comment for obvious reasons, but yeah, yeah. I've never seen gaslighting like that before. Uh, like, I mean, I've seen a lot of gaslighting recently with the media, but when you say with a straight face that Kamala Harris was never the border czar, like, come on, guys. Like, that's a statement of fact. It's a statement of fact. How can you say that with any self respect or a straight face? I'm not making any judgments, but like, literally, there were people in the media saying that there was a lie to say she was a border. It's like the President Biden, is on camera appointing her as the border czar. Anyway, yeah, yeah, exactly. I got to stop talking about this stuff. Yeah, I'm not, I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it. Oh boy. I'm not. I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it. I mean, I actually have a friend who worked in this administration, was literally in the White House, and I've been talking like I had no idea that he was in and out. Like he was in and out this administration, and when I ask him what he thinks about, like privately, he just won't. He won't say, he won't say anything because he knows. He knows it's like it's insane. Anyway, sorry, I got to answer this. Yeah, last war, space lasers. God, oh my God, that's the most ridiculous. Whatchamacallit? I forget what it's called. Conspiracy. I'm not going to repeat it because if I say anything, um, yeah, I'm not talking space lasers. All right, 5G zombies. I don't know. I don't know. And then there's I'm trying to think. Uh, I actually stopped following football. And it has nothing to do with college football, but I stopped following football after Kaepernick. Like I just stopped. I'm like I'm done with the NFL. I'm done. And and then I just it kind of was that a no? No, maybe not. Maybe it wasn't a no. No, I have not. Like I've literally been in the salt mines working constantly for the past 4 weeks. Oops. Huh. Oh my god. Yeah, it could be. Actually, I think I just skipped one. Yeah, last night I had a dream that I was fighting some non-human creatures that were coming in from Mexico. And non-human, and I mean non-human. And what we couldn't kill them, whatever they were. We were like shooting at them with machine guns, or not machines, with like automatic rifles and stuff. And then, but we were able to drive them out. Again, it's just like a run of the mill. I have weird dreams like this all the time. I can't even describe them, but they just fast moving. Uh, short. I wouldn't say gray, but like just rapacious kind of things. And couldn't kill them, but we could drive them out. Okay. Oh wow. Okay. Yep, got that. Yeah, I don't know if it's rigged or not. I just stopped caring when you know when a millionaire quarterback was claiming that he was oppressed by a league that forced him to be oppressed by voluntarily playing in a league that made him a millionaire. I was not sorry. Do I fear or empathize? Say more. If Vegas. Question mark star. Johnny, I'm going to need more. You'll always have something good to say. So I appreciate that, Bill. And like, I think Kurt has about, I don't know, 390,000 more subscribers than I do. So, I mean, I'll keep trying. It's just, I don't know what it is. But definitely helps when people share, share the episodes and stuff like that. Cause I don't think people are discovering me on YouTube. Like, I just don't. I think they're discovering me on other platforms, and then they're coming to YouTube because of it. Don't know why that is. Not blaming YouTube. I just. That's fair. I didn't catch that, but yeah, probably. If I had met an intelligence that was different, but in the same position as me, I don't know how I'd feel. It depends on what same position means. If I don't no, like honestly, it's like if I don't hit 10K by the end of the year, I'm done. I mean, I should hit 10K by the end of this month. I should have hit 10K by the end of the last month. But if I can't reach that by the end of the year, I am in the wrong business. Hey, GMO, good to see you again, man. Actually, man or woman, I actually don't know. I'm just assuming. Oh, if I got to 100K by the end of this year, then I would be doing a lot better. If I got to 1 million, I could probably do this full time. But and not other things, because I was doing this, and then I ran a consulting business, and I was doing work at a local university, and among all those things, I wasn't doing amazing, but I was doing better than like the average person, right? Without who had a full time job. It's just when somebody offers you 4 or 5 times that, you know, you should do it for a little bit. Oh yeah, I have a blue check mark. I actually get the problem. The problem though is that the monetization is like impossible, right? I just don't get anywhere near the volume of tweets. It's really hard for me to grow on X for some reason, because I think there's something in their algorithm where if people block you, and I used to be much more politically vocal, so I had people on one side, the side that likes to block everybody. You can probably figure that out. That probably blocked me, so it's hard for me to grow because I think I have like algorithmic stank from that. But that's like many years ago. I don't talk about any of that stuff, and it was before. I think it was pre. Well, I'll just leave it at that. Um, yeah, but you have to have like 1 million, like 3 million impressions in 3 months or something like that. Something crazy that I don't get even remotely close to. Although I do, like, my live streams on like radio get a lot more, at least in the first hour on X than they do on YouTube. What, getting 100,000 people by the end of the year? That would be a miracle. I wouldn't consider that a coincidence. That would be an absolute miracle. Yeah, that's Elon is right about many things. He's wrong about many things, but he is the greatest of all time when it comes to free speech. I have not reached out to Dr. Sala yet because I haven't done any research on him, but I probably should. Yeah. Well, eh, the algorithm is YouTube. Like, it's definitely YouTube because I can see it from impressions data, right? So if I look at views, if I look at like any other metric except for impressions, those other metrics by video are power law distributions, which means that like 5% of videos get 80% of views, like something like that. But impressions aren't that way, even though they should be, right? They're more linear in some way. So YouTube is definitely, it's not, the game is not like straight up fair game. They can talk about it all they want, but it's not. Just by looking at the data, it's rigged in some way. I don't know if it's rigged against me or rigged in other ways, but they definitely have exert a lot more control than they say out loud. I don't think it would make it. I think it would be like starting. I think when anybody starts a new YouTube account, like it is a struggle to get to. Oh, you mean make a new account on X? Funny you say that. I did. It's called Through a Glass Darkly, or it's like, sorry, it's ta. It's at tag Darkly or something like that. So I do have an. In fact, that's. I should just say exactly what it's called. Um, yeah, it's at. Well, let me just. This will just be easier if I just post it. but it is not. It is not blue check mark. So it's at tag glass darkly on X. So uh, that's a new one, and I have like 88 followers. It's been around for a few months, but it's associated only with the channel. But I think I messed up once where I like shared something that I probably shouldn't have. It was from a UFO person, but it was the it was the wrong thing to share. Um, so I think that's the answer to that. Let's see. Yeah, and bots for sure. Yeah. Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's definitely not consistent about free speech. That's for sure. I remember that he was all about free speech until Alex Jones, like he wouldn't let Alex Jones on because of the Sandy Hook thing. It's like, well, you're either for it or not, and then he subsequently let Alex Jones back on. But you're either for free speech or not, right? It's not. Yeah, yeah, it's 100% rigged, 100% rigged. Well, yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know, but I don't have an opinion on the Cybertruck. I just wouldn't buy it. I just wouldn't. Uh, yeah, it's a new X account. Yeah. Oh, nice, nice. I just let that thing go for a little bit. Yeah, I've done it once before. I find it exhausting. Right? There's just too many people talking all. Or I mean, not. It's just like you're just sitting there waiting. I don't have the stamina for that. I mean, I've done it before. I did it with John Strader and Rich Geldrich, who at some point I'm going to have him on. He just has to get through a lot of stuff. But yeah, there's definitely a way to do that. So Lon Strickler on from Phantoms of interesting. I've tried to reach out to Richard Dolan many times, and I'm not successful. Yeah, maybe he might very well be. He might very well be. Um, let's see. But yeah, I don't want to complain too much about YouTube. I mean, it's not like something flashed up today about like hate speech or something. I don't even know what it was. I don't know if there was like a commenter who said something and then it was like knocked off, but I don't see any other repercussions. And I don't know what was even talking about. So, maybe someone reported one of the Surfati episodes. I don't know. I don't know. Because there's somebody who like rage quit and like subscribing, and those people I just send to the abyss where they can post all they want and no one will ever see it. That's the one thing I liked about YouTube is if someone's disruptive in the comments, then you don't have to delete the comment. You just leave it there for them to see and no one else. And they can rage and tell you you're an idiot all they want, and only they will see it. So that's one feature that uh, I'm pretty much free speech on everything, but I'm not that way on this channel because this channel is about entertainment. It's not about allowing like having people insult guests and stuff like that. If I see that, I just kind of I don't delete it. It just that person just goes into the abyss, and they're hidden from the channel. But oops, I keep going. Yeah, yeah. Those are gonna be two interesting episodes because it was a remote viewing project. Oh yeah, yeah. I haven't read it, but I've seen he was on the Concrete podcast. You have to be careful with him because he comes with some baggage, right? Because he was labeled alt right, and then anything that has that taint on it is basically like his career was destroyed because he got that label. He lost a professor. He was unable to get tenure. He was targeted by all sorts of mal actors. So you got to be careful about. He's a really interesting guy, but you just have to be careful about anybody who was caught up in some intelligence operation. Yeah, I don't think it's risky either, but I think it doesn't matter. It's just kind of the whole topic is memory hold. Interesting. Yeah, just don't tell anybody who those people are because they might get a visit and not a good visit. Probably legal reasons for and backlash for what? Very curious, genuinely. Yeah, I did. Yeah, like, and then I saw the same image on Twitter. It was that looked like a spinning top, sort of like really high resolution sort of stuff. Yeah, yeah. Politics is it's gotten beyond the pale in this country. Like it's just not even you can't really talk about it at all anymore because it's just the people have become so irrational about it. So no, I can say categorically I've never seen a blue orb ever. I've seen maybe have seen an orange orb, but and it was big, about the size of a basketball. But it happened so fast, I would say fractions of a second, that I'm not even sure what I saw. But it was back in April of 2022, I think. I have a whole episode on it actually. Just look at the episode with Jack Connor. There's an episode where I talk about it, and then I kind of have like a reenactment of it. Huh. Interesting. I should look into that. Mood in Russia is great. Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. All right, cool. Yeah, but it was like it happened so fast. I couldn't. I wasn't sure if I could believe what I saw. Um, it was before your mind could even process. But like the light, it was like between 1 and 2 a.m. in the morning. I was outside, and the light, the entire like horizon lit up, and this thing just like went came right over my house, and then just kept going off into toward the Sacramento Delta, and disappeared over the hill. I wasn't sure what it was. Yeah, it didn't invade. Like I saw something, but Oh, interesting. I'm not going to say that out loud, but yeah, it could also be like underground. There was something with like Austria where they found some walled up entrance to some underground thing, and where they believe there may have been trade with something under there in like the 1500s. I don't know. There are many mysteries in this world. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I just see I'm surrounded by birds. I see ravens, hawks, owls, and hummingbirds. I see hummingbirds more than anything else because they, basically live in my yard and the next yard. Yeah, he's made the rounds. He's certainly made the rounds. Yeah, Giorgiani definitely has an interesting thesis. Yeah, constantly, constantly. Yeah, corvids are extremely intelligent, like ravens and crows, very intelligent. Yep. Yeah, maybe. Like again, I that one that landed in my yard was no, no. I just bought Beyond Skinwalker because I wanted to see David Morehouse's episode, but I haven't. I tried watching it last night. I just felt like I just collapse because it's just like constant work, and then I collapse. Oh yeah, yeah. There's a creepy story about orcas that David Morehouse was telling me. He knows a guy who's like an expert on orcas, and I don't know if it was this guy or he knows somebody. There were like three guys that were in a kayak somewhere kind of offshore in Alaska, and one of the guys in the kayak had gone whale hunting and killed an orca. Well, this orca came out of nowhere and capsized the boat. And as two of the guys were getting back in the boat, it specifically attacked the guy who'd killed an orca and like grabbed him and dove as deep as possible until the guy drowned to death. It's like the orca knew. Very creepy. Very intelligent creatures. Oh yeah, there was a Harvard study. Like it had like someone wore a caveman mask and someone wore a Dick Cheney mask. And the person who wore a caveman mask would mess with the birds and the Dick Cheney mask guy would feed them. And like the crows, it was a crow experiment. Uh, they would harass the guy wearing the caveman mask because they remember faces. Oh yeah, Masters has been on this channel. I have like two interviews with him. Huh? Interesting. Yeah, they definitely remember faces. Yeah, they do what they do hoot back. Yeah, I see them fly over my house sometimes. You don't hear them at all. And because their wings are designed, I think, or have like a different design than normal, like regular, like other birds. Oh, I didn't know that. Huh. Yeah, but in terms of like owls not being what they seem like, let me pull this up if I can find it. Hold on. Bear with me here. Oh, come on. Here we go. That's a good enough of one. You've all probably seen this a bazillion times on this channel, but if you haven't, now I'm like lost. Let's see. Yeah, probably. Oh, I didn't know they couldn't fly in rain. All right, cool, Gray. I'll take a look. Yeah, yeah. That I think that's the one where they had like up in Alaska. I think. Oops. Yeah, well, this one right here got my attention. Right, like that's my back gate, and I was able to walk up to him, and he just allowed me to take all these pictures. I know I've shown this a million times, but it still amazes me that this happened. Yeah, but I mean that guy was like he's within 5 feet of me and didn't fly away, didn't didn't scare. If I bridged the distance, it would have been, um, it started to to react, but let me see if I have. I mean, I have 1,000 photos of this thing. Yep. Yeah. If is there a topic that I should talk to him about? Because if I can come up with a topic to talk to him about, he's awesome. Like every time I reach out to him, he's like, "Yep, okay." But I never see him on other than like Jeffrey Mishlove. I never see him on anything else. So I don't know if he's just turning people down or people aren't reaching out to him. But yeah, yeah, I definitely wasn't a threat. Yeah. By the way, while that owl was there, a squirrel came running up along the fence and like went around the back of the owl and then just kept going, and the owl didn't do anything. It was really really weird. So like a squirrel literally came to the owl. Yeah, maybe. Cool. Very good. Let me see if there's any other interesting photos of this guy. I mean, I got plenty of them, but I think I showed Strader some of these pictures, and it just freaked him out. There's another one. Again, I have roughly 1,000 photos of this particular owl because it was such an unprecedented experience. Let me just see if I can move this down a little bit so you can see it better. Yeah. I know, seriously. No, the squirrel literally went right behind it. It did not eat the squirrel. Huh. Yeah. Yeah, he did say that on my channel, actually, I think. I don't think it's a coincidence. I don't think that this whole thing was a coincidence. It was weird. Yeah, basically. Yeah, they do. Yeah, this guy is like super stunning. Even the eyes. Look at those eyes. Let's see if I can zoom in. Crazy, right? Yeah. Well, I mean, it was dusk, right? You could see that like the area behind is kind of this whitish color. It's because it's dusk or close to dusk. It was around 6 p.m. that day. Yeah, definitely is. All right, so let's stop sharing that one. Oh, I haven't had heat lightning. That's when it gets really humid. You must live in a humid area, Wood Riders, DG. I haven't seen heat lightning in many years. Huh. Reopen network. Yeah. I never heard of them, but yeah. Yeah, that owl was a pretty owl. And then I probably have. Do I have? Yeah, I think I have them on video. So I don't know if it's the same owl, but let's see if I can. Oh, it's not in the. Uh, see if I can turn the. Oh yeah. Bear with me on this one, but I also got like video on this guy. Yeah, 100%. All right. All right, let's see. Just not the most stabilized video, but it's just chilling, taking a siesta. I mean, I've spliced pieces of this in various videos, but this is just kind of the raw. Huh. I mean, look at those talons. Yeah, that's the end of that video. And I have another one that's similar. Let me see if I can find it. This one's a little bit more interesting. I mute it because I don't want you to hear me like whistling and talking to it. Yeah. Well, when do you see this one? Like I'm standing right there and he's not moving. That's exactly the vibe that I got off of this guy. I know, right? Yeah, he's definitely a good guy. This was September 2023. So, I mean, that's not, it's not tonight, but it's relatively recent. I think I would have been creeped out if he looked. He just had a very protector, like a protecting vibe. I could have sworn I had. Yeah, I guess not. Yeah, I have another video somewhere else. For some reason, I can't. It's probably in the Peter Lavenda. Here's another image. This is from 2021, I think. Just so that okay, so I'm assuming you can see, it's not a great photo, but I think that's a great horned owl. This is in Lone Pine, California, back in 2021. when everything was locked down with COVID. I just went for like a road trip, and this guy was hanging outside of a gas station. Oh, I don't know. Oh, uh, I think both of the owls that I showed you were great horned owls. The one that was in my backyard was 100% a great horned owl. That's exactly what they look like, and it's exactly what they sound like. Yeah, the guy's got an Italian name. I can't remember what his name is, but yeah, it still haunts that guy if he's still alive. Uh, all right, what else? What else should I cover? Give it about 8 more minutes. I think 2 hours is probably good enough. Yeah, you don't want to be doing a hard style. Gurdjieff is a name that comes up a lot. I actually asked in my live stream with Whitley Strieber. I actually asked him about Gurdjieff because Strieber was like an acolyte of Gurdjieff, or the philosophy of Gurdjieff. He didn't really say much though. Nobody ever does. It's kind of weird. Anything else I should cover? Any other questions, comments, good jokes? How's your week going? Nothing? We got 6 minutes, guys. 6 minutes to ask many questions. Oh, this is easy. I got 2 degrees. One was in, well, 2 degrees in undergrad. So I got a Bachelor of Arts in History and a Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering. 2 wildly different things. But those were my two majors. I told you I was intense, type A glutton for punishment. So that's what I did. But it's not a random question. Um, yeah. And oh no, that's I mean, math, I think I probably could have handled. I think math would have been a little easier for me than electrical engineering, but physics would have been a lot harder. That's a lot harder. Like my brain works with like equations and math, but you know, intuition, the intuition you need for physics is I struggled with. Yeah, maybe. I mean, who knows? Who knows? What else? What else is going on? What do people think of the Sarfati interview? Yeah, Astrov physics is hard. Like I think that's probably the hardest major there is. Yeah, I find him kind of creepy. I don't know why. There's something off. Not to say that Matthias De Stefano is, he might be perfectly fine. I get a weird vibe from him. Yeah, yeah. Sarfati is a force of nature. Um, yeah, it was fun. I knew he would be fun, and I knew he would be controversial, and the videos seem to do well. So yeah, you're gonna get some unwanted political talk. That you know just and when I say unwanted, I just mean it's not a political show, but Sarfati's gonna let you know what he thinks. Yeah, yeah. The issue is he's an extremely intelligent guy, and there's like a base level of intelligence that you kind of need to have to be able to to survive that interview. Because I mean, he's 83 years old and he's like sharp as a tack. He's smarter than most people at 83. Not smarter than people at 83, like smarter than most people. That sounds exactly like Jack. No, I mentioned that's everybody I've mentioned. Yeah, he's extremely intelligent. He's sometimes he can be his own worst enemy, but that's part of his charm. Like you kind of know what you're gonna get. You're gonna get like this cantankerous, you know. I just remember when he was telling me the M1 sucked. I'm like, I was on one, man. Like, did you not watch the Gulf War? Like, did you see what they did to the Russian tanks? But then he started talking about it was too heavy for the mud. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's definitely fair. Like even on stuff that where he's not an expert, he's still like pretty well informed. So, but he keeps himself pretty sharp. But regardless, all right. I think going once, going twice. I'm just gonna play some music in the stream just about now. So thank you all for coming. Thank you for hearing me whine and complain and rant and do what I'm doing. I'm just everything's a struggle. Everything tends to be most things tend to be harder than it should be. But the Duran maybe I don't. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you, Gray Al. All right. Good night, everybody, and we'll just play some music soon. Stand by.